HubSpot AEO launched on April 14th, 2026, and it is HubSpot's answer to the question that all of us marketers are asking: how do we show up in AI? In this video, you and I are going to do a couple things. First, we're going to start with a quick product overview as a whole. What is HubSpot AEO? What is the value prop? What can you expect from it? Next, we're going to do a short setup tour. So I'll show you how to set up your products and services and give you a feel for what your brand will look like inside the platform. Next, I'm going to give you an inside look into our paid agency account to give you a look at some of the features that the full version has. And that way you'll know by the end of this video whether or not HubSpot AEO is A, lying, B, is the right fit for your marketing team, or C, actually helps you show up in the black box of AI search. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Andy Milligan. I'm the founder at MMG Design Studio here in Columbus, Ohio. We are a Webflow agency, and I personally have been in web for over a decade, and I've seen firsthand how all the tech changes impact how our brand is seen online. Before we get into talking about HubSpot AEO, there's one thing you need to know. Nobody, and I don't care what they tell you, has honestly cracked AI search yet. And anyone that tells you they have is trying to sell you something. So the question you and I are trying to answer isn't if HubSpot solved AEO or AI search, because they didn't. The question that we're trying to answer is whether or not they've built something useful that allows us to keep an accurate baseline to track progress. Now, before we dive into setting up an account, a few things about the product itself. There are two ways to use HubSpot AEO. Number one, if you're already a HubSpot user, congratulations. It's bundled into the Marketing Hub Pro and the Enterprise plans. Or the second option for us non-HubSpot fanboys is there's a standalone option with a 28-day limited free trial. And after that, it's $50 a month. A few of the catches that come with the free trial. When you're on the trial, you only get 10 prompts and you only get to track how the ChatGPT is surfacing your brand. Versus on the standalone plan, the one you pay $50 a month for, you get 25 prompts to track in ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini. The downside, as you may have just noticed, you're not going to be able to track AI overviews or Claude. As with a lot of its newer products, HubSpot's main goal is to push you into its full paid plans. So without hitting on HubSpot too hard, let's jump in and set up a new account. All right, so here we are on the HubSpot AEO product page. If you scroll through here, I'm not a huge fan of this design, but I'm biased. I have high standards. So we're just going to click on start a free trial, and I'm going to create one under one of my alternate email addresses. So I'm going, this is our main studio account, but I'm just going to hit create account with a new user. I'm not going to sign up with Google because, you know, as much as I love them, I don't want to share that much data. Boom, verify my email. Boom, put in the code, set up a password, my name. Okay, so now getting onboarded. What best describes your role? I am an owner. Company name is MMG Design Studio. Name of our company. 2 to 5 team members. Website is mmg.studio for your main domain. So what you'll do when it comes to this dialog is you'll put in your website or your company's main website URL. You don't have to have a www or an https:// just go set up. Boom. And it is going to onboard you. So you're going to come up with a couple questions to make HubSpot work better for you. Now, obviously, it's going to recognize that you don't already have a HubSpot account, and it's going to try and market the shit out of you in order to buy one. But that aside, let's just go through the setup. The first tab you'll see here, you'll see that you set up a free trial. Get visibility into how AI talks about your business. So you're going to start with your brand name and your domain, and you're going to hit get started. And it's going to do a quick search and analyze all mentions of your brand as it appears online. And what it's going to do here is it's going to make prompt recommendations. It's going to ask you about your product, services, and ICP. Okay, so next up after it's ran that scan, it's going to notice that there's multiple different variations of our name that appears online. So as you can see here, we have MMG Studio, uppercase, lowercase, full all caps, half case, MMG Design Studio. We have different brand mentions. It's going to ask what your business type is. We are B2B, and you're going to hit next. Now it's going to give you a list of competitors. And when we set up our agency account, I will say that these are pretty accurate in terms of the ones that have already appeared online. But essentially, it's going to find people who rank for similar products and services that would be your competitors. You're trying to rank for similar terms. Now, don't be afraid if some of the businesses that appear on here are different from yours or aren't direct competitors. You can clarify all this later on. If you want to edit or delete any of them, you can hit this thing called edit. You can add different brand variation names. You can change their name to begin with. You can change their domain and refine this list. I have found that the more that you add, the better, but I would keep it targeted as much as you can on who are actually your competitors. So all of these people, I wouldn't necessarily say they're competitors or that I'm throwing shade or anything, but these are all Webflow agencies that also serve healthcare. So I'm just going to hit continue. Then you're going to set up your products and ICPs. So what it recommended for us was lead generation systems, AI visitor intelligence, and Webflow websites. You're going to want to pick one as your primary. And I will say two of these are pretty accurate. We work with healthcare, so managed to find that out really accurately. If you have schema markup or your site is pretty AI optimized to begin with, if it's not, give us a call. That'll be linked below to make sure that you're appearing well in AI search. But if you want to do this yourself, you want to make sure that you limit your products down to 3, select the main one on the free trial, and that way you can build all your prompts around one product. I recommend that. And then pick out your ICPs, and you can edit it if it's not 100% right. And then set up the job titles, interests, industries. There's a ton of each of these. I really encourage you guys to go as detailed as possible with this. Set up the revenue ranges, age ranges even. This I wouldn't be as diligent about because usually marketing directors is our ICP, and they can be usually have a couple years of experience. So checking off that box there. US name. The name does not have to be directly reflective. It's just so you can remember it. So be clear with the name and not clever. And once all this information in your ICP is correct, make sure that it's dotted out next to the checkbox and hit continue. And now it's going to get to recommending some prompts for us. Okay, so like I said, on the free plan, we get 10 prompts to test out. And like I said, we are a Webflow agency for healthcare. So I'll just go through some of these. And it's going to assign a buyer journey phase here, as you can see in the right half. Awareness is top of funnel. So people are just hearing about you. People put in, or our customers put in these prompts if they're just exploring. Consideration is when they're actively making a decision. So they're looking for a vendor. They're looking to have their questions answered to make a funded decision on. So that's closer to the bottom of the funnel. Looking at some of these prompts here, they did a pretty good job. And again, I had a generally positive experience with getting onboarded into our agency account. Why do healthcare companies struggle with generic website design platforms? What causes B2B healthcare websites, industry, and ICP, shouted out in the prompt, to underperform on lead generation? How do custom web for websites help with healthcare marketing compliance? All of these questions that our customers are going to AI for, or they could potentially go to AI for. Then I'm liking all the ones that I see here. You can edit or change or delete these. But once you have a good set, you can hit continue. This takes us straight to the prompt dialog. I'm going to go back to our dashboard and see how everything is appearing at a glance. Like I said, I just set up this account, and this is our first time using these prompts. So it's looking pretty bare. But this is similar to what you'll see when you set up your prompts. This here at the top, this brand visibility over time, pretty self-explanatory. It's going to track you across each of these 3 brand mentions by date, and they'll have a different color, and they'll appear on the scatter plot here. This brand visibility kind of like 0 to 100 chart. It's kind of like a gas meter on a car or like a speedometer on a car. You're going to see what percentage of your prompts that you're allowed to track are you actually showing up in. This here in the bottom left is pretty cool. So it'll show your competitors and how much of a share of voice they have over the prompts that you have overlapping. So over the prompts that we have in similar with some of our competitors here, you'll see which is in the lead. And over here on the right is kind of a just line plot diagram. That's going to give you a tooltip walkthrough too of each of these sections. This here at the bottom is the domains that cite your brand. So if you guys have an SEO background, you'll know that backlinks and citations play a really big role in traditional SEO. They also do here. What it does a really good job of is tracking which competitors or which domains are citing your brand and the credibility of each of them. Citations by channel, this middle bottom part here, it's going to show you a bunch of different categories that the prompts that you are tracking are showing up. So this one takes a little bit of time to explain. So the way this works is you guys know how when you put in these prompts, you're going to get a lot of citations. Each of these citations has a different category. Some of them are competitor-based, some of them are earned, some of them are owned, some of them are peer, some of them are review sites, some of them are UGC. All those links that are technically citations within the answer to a prompt, these are the different categories that they can appear in. And here is another visualization of which percentage you're tracking in over time. The next tab here, you're going to get a sense for each and every prompt you show up in. And you can get a percentage score over time matched with the products that you are trying to rank for. This is a even further in-depth version if you go to the citations tab of the types of links that are included within the citations. So this is a more granular version of the first thing we just talked about. The most powerful part of this platform for me is the recommendations tab here. So what it's going to do is it's going to take all the prompts, your current ranking status amongst your competitors, and it's going to make recommendations for you to take actions on. So for example, it's going to rank them by priority. It's going to talk about what type of content it wants you to build on. It's going to talk about the content type, and it's going to give you an overview and some instructions on how to do that. So it's going to give you like an example title, target audience, and basically give you a lot of prompts and action items for going in to create content to fill in the gaps where your brand is appearing in these 3 platforms. Okay, so that was a 0 to 1 overview. When you log in and start your free trial, that's exactly what you're going to see. But what about a full feature trial? What about if you had a couple weeks and you started to rank for prompts? What is the difference? Well, let's dive into our agency account and I'll show you. Okay, so here we are in our agency account. You're gonna notice we have a lot more prompts that we really haven't set up yet because we just started the full featured trial. So we're still ranking on our 10 initial free version prompts. But you're gonna see we have a lot better visibility. We have more traction in terms of tracking these. There's a little bit more data to go off of. So as you can see, in the last 2 weeks, we've been able to see how our competitors are doing in relation to us. So we're kind of middle of the pack here when it comes to competitor visibility. You're going to notice a lot of the same share of voice competitors here on the left side. We're kind of hanging in the middle there as we continue to optimize our site. You're going to see a lot of similar content channels in terms of the citation, because a lot of these are going to stay the same. If we're asking similar prompts, especially if you're staying in B2B or if you're on the B2C side, a lot of the prompt types are going to be similar. The biggest difference between AI search and regular search currently is that it's really hard to track keyword search volume. We'll get very granular on those things because prompts and AEO are very specific and they're often a lot longer. So the odds that two potential customers search the exact same long prompt, it's not very productive to track it by then because they're honestly less than 5 if you were to track it manually. So think about your own behavior with AI search. Are you searching just a quick keyword phrase like you would type into Google, or are you getting more elaborate, more detailed and asking for specifics relative to how your AI knows you? That's why it's not as productive and you won't see within here, you'll see percentages and not direct search traffic volume because it's really hard to track the specificity of exact prompts. So this is what we're seeing in the main dashboard. Let's head over to the prompts dashboard. We have a bit more traction on our keywords here. And when you click into each prompt, you'll be able to see each of these and how you're appearing in each. We're appearing in ChatGPT, the 7th-sided brand. And this is wild because literally earlier today, and you'll notice a lot of variability in how much these things change. Literally earlier today, I would say half of these we had visibility in. And then, towards the end of the day, it changes very much. So don't get downtrodden if your visibility dips or if it suddenly increases. Don't hang your horses on that. But the good news is with that is a lot of these recommendations that you'll see here in the right tab, you'll be able to have real influence. What I'm going to start having my assistant doing is going to these, is onboarding her into our agency account and having her respond to some of these Reddit threads, which I think is really cool. It actually links directly to the Reddit thread that would be helpful in being cited for your brand. So this is a Reddit thread called "What Could I Consider When Building a Healthcare Website and Webflow?" I have about 1 million answers that I could come up for with this one. So I'll definitely be chiming in on this Reddit thread. It's really cool that it was able to pick that up. I don't know of any other search platform. There are a couple search platforms. We have an account on peak.ai. It doesn't let you get this granular, nor does it surface recommendations like this that's relevant to your brand. So this is a really interesting feature, and it accurately categorizes what type of content type to show up in, because AI pulls from more than just Google rankings. It pulls from LinkedIn, it pulls from Reddit, it pulls from Instagram, it pulls from YouTube, it pulls from all these different ones. And the variability is that between these different platforms, you're going to see a bias towards each. So for example, Gemini is going to bias a lot towards YouTube because they're in the same company. It's incentivized to get those clicks. ChatGPT, on the other hand, is very relevant and they have an agreement deal. I'm not sure of the exact structure of their deal with Reddit, but they surface a lot more Reddit threads and more niche, more kind of black box community stuff like you see on Reddit. The good part about recommendations is that it gives you a large surface area to make sure you're appearing everywhere. So that is HubSpot AEO. I'm going to say it first, it's front and center. It's one of my favorite AEO tools. The onboarding was very seamless, as I hope you guys took away in the walkthrough. And sticking with it for the past couple of weeks, I've been able to see meaningful change in how our brand is appearing AI, and the recommendations are incredibly helpful and actionable. So if you're a marketing team and you have a budget to play around with, highly recommend you guys invest in potentially trying this out and definitely jump on the free trial. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe because we're releasing videos every single week. And because you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, how do I identify my website visitors to see who's finding us with AI and what their exact profiles are? So you're going to want to check out this video right here to learn more about how to identify your hidden website visitors and tools that you can use to do that. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.